Hi, I'm Ray and this is TinyTableGames. Thanks for clicking on the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And join me on my journey as I go through all the games on my game shelf that I've never played so I can get them all sorted out, rated, figure out what I'm keeping, what I'm getting rid of, and get all the minis painted where appropriate. Today, we're playing Crusader Rex, which is a game by Columbia Games and is made, I think, in 2005. I'm using rules version 1.1, which you may go, why does that matter? And the answer is because in wargames of a particular style, over time, the rules evolve. Not unlike the rules for like Magic the Gathering or something like that, except basically the complexity and starting locations of troops in wargames that are based on historical incidents. Over time, people find little tricks or things that kind of warp the historical narrative of it, and so they update the rules accordingly to prevent that from happening. So there's actually newer rules, 2.0. I'm not using those because the set I have is older that uses the 1.1 rules. If I went 2.0 rules, I'd actually have to buy another copy of the game because some of the stuff's different and the map's laid out a little bit different. So as I'm just playing solo, none of that matters, but I just thought I'd mention it at the front. So anyway, if you're ever curious about the Third Crusades, which was what, 1187 to 1192, in and around Jerusalem and Galilee and all that stuff, you're in for an interesting time. So that said, let's go do this. So here's the board layout for Crusader Rex. It takes place between 1187 and 1192. There are 6 years, and within each year is basically a game turn. Within each game turn, there are a series of 6 rounds, which represents everybody's ability to move and fight around the map. The 6th turn is always winter, which is minimal movement and pretty much no fighting because it wasn't practical to do so. The green bricks represent the forces of Saladin, and the orange bricks represent the Crusaders, the Franks and whatnot. There are 2 draw piles of reserve troops off the board. The Crusaders have 13. Saladin's forces have 6. The Saracens. So, as you can see, the map runs pretty, whoops, these are guys in the wrong spot. They should be down here. It's pretty busy. The starting locations are all over the place, but it's all determined by the map and what's on the little sticker saying where people start. If you look, you can see there's various symbols on the map depending on what person you have as to where they may start. So not every symbol is used in the initial startup, but depending on who you draw and whatnot. So that said, how the game works is, in essence, there's a card phase where everybody gets 6 cards per year, basically, and they number from 1 to 3, that's it. And you pick one, and if your number is the highest, you get to go first, and if your number isn't, you go second. And this also dictates how many moves you get to make on that turn. Moving is done by, let's see, let's grab this guy. Okay, so every brick has a little sticker like this. It's got its unit. Right here is how many towns they can move. So when you activate a unit with your card and say, I want to move this unit, he can move up to 3 towns. This is basically hit points, also how many dice he rolls in combat. If he takes a hit, you rotate the cube, which is kind of Columbia Games' big thing. And now in his next turn, he's only got 1 hit point left and he's only rolling 1 dice to reflect attrition. There's this down here is his combat value. It goes A, B, and C, and the numbers go from like 1 to 5 or something like that. But basically, A's go before B's, go before C's, and the higher the number, the easier it is to hit things, because you have to roll on a D6, and if you hit roll equal to or less than that number, you cause a hit. Kind of like Stratego, in that basically everybody's got hidden movement. Your opponent can't see what's on the backside of your cubes until combat starts, then you have to flip them up like that so you can do the fight. But unlike Stratego, because it's a historical map, there are roads, and roads have limits. The thin-lined roads can handle up to a movement of 4 units at once, and the thick line roads can handle up to 8. So, for example, groups count as a single unit when you're moving, and groups are defined as any combination of the same color of bricks in the same starting town when you say, let's move. So you can move all 8 of these guys at the same time, but not on this road because it's too small. So you'd have to move in 2 moves if you wanted to move all these guys to the next town. So it's pretty straightforward. The overall goal of the game is to capture as many cities as possible. There are 7 cities on the board. We got Egypt, Jerusalem, Acre, where is it? Damascus, Tripoli, Aleppo, Antioch. And if you'll notice like this starts orange right there. Anytime there's no brick there, it automatically defaults back to Crusader control. And similarly for like Damascus, which is green, anytime nobody's there, it automatically defaults to Saracen control. So there's never a neutral unit in the game, except for these guys. Those represent the assassin guilds that hang out in the mountains, which there's one card that lets you like play assassins to go try to assassinate someone. So that said, it's pretty straightforward. You play a card, you move units, you battle, and then you're allowed to draw up 1 additional unit, which is basically your reinforcement, and then you play the next card out of your hand. And by the time you've gone through all 6 cards, that's the end of the year. And then you do some evaluation based on winter, and then it'll be the next year, and off you go. So that's it in a nutshell. Let's get started. So strategically, right off the bat, obviously Damascus and Egypt are big strongholds for the Saracens. Jerusalem, kinda, and Antioch are the only 2 real strongholds, if you want to call them that, for the Crusaders. The Crusaders' reinforcements come a bit slower than the Saracens, and as bricks get killed, except for a few of them, they just go back to your drop pile and you get to bring them back out. But only 1 at a time, so attrition is a real thing in this game. So in any case, the Crusaders probably need to give up some of these little towns on the edges and reinforce the major cities that they need to hold. So we'll probably move this guy out because he is useless where he is over here in Karak, I guess. Knight Renauld is not really doing anything for anybody over here, so we got to get him to Jerusalem, and probably this guy up here at Nablus. And then we got to reinforce Acre, so we'll probably draw those guys into there, and the Jerusalem ones there, and give up some of these outer towns, because that 1 cube is not going to be, or 1 brick is not going to be able to stop a 6 brick march up the coastline by itself. Although that guy's probably going to be a sacrifice. So anyway, from the perspective of the Saracens, hold the middle. Damascus is certainly a key front for being able to get to the coast quite easily. Within what? 1, 2, 3 moves, they can get to the coast down a major road, right to Tyre, and from there they can run up and down the coast pretty easily, as that's all a major road up until you get past Latakia and up to Antioch. Then it's all mountainous terrain, and that's why you got to shift over and go around the mountains through Hama and Hamas and all that. Okay. That said, let's see what we got. The Crusaders. Probably use this 3 to try and get people formed up because they're a little spread out right now. And meanwhile, the Saracens have a couple of the word cards. Let's see, Winter Campaign, allow 1 normal group move during the winter turn. You may attack and activate any and all existing sieges, which is the thing when, if it, we'll get to that, but if you're in a city, all the cities have castles, and that's what the number indicates, is how many bricks can hide in the castle and defend it as a siege versus how many people have to lay it way outside in the field. In Mud, cancels the current turn for both players. Play continues normal, play a new card. Let's see, beyond that, a couple of 2s, a 1, and a 3. I think they will go with a 1. And as soon as you run into an enemy, you have to stop. So if we move some people up the coast, we're gonna have to fight him and get rid of him. So that's gonna be 1 move. And maybe bring these guys up, so that'd be a 2nd move. So we may do an exploratory fight here and the main sweep up from there. All right, so they can probably get away with a 2 this turn. So with that done, you flip them over and go, aha, the Crusaders are going first because they have the higher number. So everybody moves, but first the Crusader moves all their people, then the Saracens will move all their people, and then you resolve the fights in whichever order the guy who went first chooses. So, let's see, just what we said. Probably gonna sacrifice that guy just to test it out. He will be unit 1, and he can move up to 2. So he can, each movement point is a 10, or is a town, excuse me. So it'll go from Karak to Jericho to Jerusalem. And you can have any number of bricks in a city. You just can't have more than the number listed in the hexagon inside the castle. So that's move number 1. Move number 2 is going to be this guy over to Tyre, or excuse me, Acre. And I think we will 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say that's probably all the people we're going to need in Jerusalem because I'm worried about all the Damascus guys. So we're going to pull him back for the 3rd move. So no combat initiated by the Crusaders, the Franks. So now the Saracens under Saladin get to go, and first move is going to be not abandon Egypt, but let's see who we got in here. Let's see. So we've got, he can attack with 3, 3, 4, that's really good. And so far everybody's got a movement of 3, movement of 3, movement of 3, movement of 3. All right, so we're gonna move some of the premier guys up, the Al-Adil clan and the Al-Aziz group. And we shall leave Korakush and the Arabs, I think, in Egypt and move up everybody else as the first move into Gaza. Where it'll be a 4-2-1 situation. Okay, so that's the first move. They got 1 more move coming. I think we may probe a little bit. And out of Homs up here, go for Crac de Chevalet. So these guys together both can move 3. And they both can roll 3 dice. That's pretty good. So for their second Saracen move, we're going to move from Homs down the big road here to Crac de Chevalet for the second fight. And now it is up to the first player, as that's all the moves, as to who's going to fight first. And I guess we'll do this one. So here are the forces involved. The poor guy, the Crusader in Gaza, is a B3. So all the A people will fight first, and then the Bs go. So the first thing that happens as Al-Adil will get to attack with 4 dice before the Templar can attack himself. And then all of these guys will go. So that'll be 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 dice versus his 3, assuming he's still at 3 when we get to the second round. How damage works is whoever, since these are all grouped together, if this guy did a damage to this group, the person with the highest hit point total has to take the hit. So they get rotated down. It's not, you don't pick and choose which guy gets it. It's just whoever's the highest gets it. And if it's even, then the person who owns him gets to pick. So it's pretty straightforward in that regard. There's no real targeting per se. All right, but first we do 4 dice versus the Templar out of Gaza. Because it's an A2, Saladin's force hits on a 1 or a 2 only out of 4 dice. But he got 3 hits. So, looking at this guy, He starts at 3, that's 1 hit, that's 2 hits, he's out. So he gets immediately retired out of the game. And the forces of Saladin are now in control in Gaza. The next fight will happen right here in whatever, Crac de Chavalet or something. Okay, so here they all are, and in the case of a tie, the defenders go before the attackers. And since the attacker is defined as whoever moved into the square. So the Hospitalier gets to roll his 2 dice, hitting on a 3, 2, or a 1 into these guys, and then they will get a chance to respond. So, 3 dice. He gets 1 hit. These are even, so we will apply it to this guy. And now they have a total of 5 dice coming back at them. But we'll roll it differently because they hit different. This hits on a 3, 2, or 1, and that hits on a 2 or 1. So here's the 3 dice hitting on a 3, 2, or 1. And he hits 2 hits, and that's all it's going to take. Hit number 1, hit number 2, he is out. And when you're standing back up, you retain your hit point losses. They don't heal up or magically or anything. It just stays as it is, which is, again, part of the Columbia game shtick for how that works. That way you can still have units that have fatigue and wounds over time. All right, and that is the end of the battle phase. And now we move on to the draw phase. Each player draws 1 block from their draw pool. So it's all just random and shuffled. So the Crusaders draw a Pilgrim, and the Saracens draw Arabs. So the Arabs deploy to Egypt because that's where it says they go. And the rules say that the Pilgrims can land in any port town you want, so long as it's friendly. If there are no friendly port towns left, and those are the ones with little anchors, then you're pretty much out of luck. So I think we'll have them pull into Caesarea, we'll say, or Caesarea perhaps. Oof, these names. All right, that done, we're now on to the second turn. Let's see, what do we have left as the Crusaders? A bunch of 2s and a 1. Well, we're definitely save the 1 for winter when we're not doing much. So we're going to be using the 2. Over here with the Crusaders, I think we want to speed things up and go with a 3 this time, since we just won that last fight and take advantage of it. Which means the Saracens will go first because they have the higher initiative. They can move up to 3. If we go make this 1 block and go 1, and it's 4 units, so they can move even across the small roads, 2, 3, and find themselves in Jerusalem. Time to move for Tripoli. So these guys are going to move in. That's 1 move, so that's 2 moves total. And this guy is going to come up the road also. He's coming from a different direction, which means that he's held in reserve. This fight will happen first, and if he's still needed, that he gets to fight in the next round. But for the first round, you have to pick which force is your main force, so these 2 guys will be the main force. So that's all 3 moves for the Saracens. The Crusaders have 2 moves. So we will move up somebody from Beirut, 1, 2. So he will also be in reserve. And I guess we'll move this guy in from Margat, I guess it is, or Tardis actually. So that's just 1 hop, and he's down there too. So that's how the fight's gonna look. So we'll do the initial fight first here in Tripoli. Which is going to be these guys versus this guy. B2, B2, and B3. He's the defender, so he gets to go first. He can, because he's a knight, choose to charge, which he might do because he's in pretty dire straits. The disadvantage of charging is if you roll a 6, you hurt yourself because you're charging. But he only hits on a 1 and a 2, so yeah. The advantage of charging is it gives him 1 extra die. That's literally it. But it would take 1, 2, 3 hits to kill off this guy, and 1, 2, 3 hits to kill off that guy, so it may not be worth it. Oh, then maybe it is. What the heck, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do the charge. So that'll be 5 dice to him. And he hits on 1s and 2s. And if he rolls a 6, he hurts himself. So, oh boy. Well, that was hardly ideal. So he hurts himself, and one of these guys get hurt. And all things being equal, I'll go for the guy who hits worse. And now it is time for the counterattack. 3 dice that hit on 3s, and then 2 dice that hit on 2s. So first attack, no hits. And now the 2 dice that hit on 2s, whoops. Nope. Wow, his charge paid off in disarray for the enemy. Okay, so that's the first combat round, and nobody's dead. Impressive. Now come the reserves. So now, the reserves get added in. So we have another B2, and a B3, another Knight Templar, and a Turco-Pol. So, Turkish-Polish guys. All right, and the defender still goes first, and they're all Bs. Oh, this guy's actually an A, so he will go first, and then the defender's Bs will go first, and then finally the attackers. So, he hits on a 1 or a 2. He can't charge because he doesn't have a Knight shield, but he does roll 3 dice. So, 1 or a 2 on 3 dice, attacking the Saracens in Tripoli. And he gets 2 hits. So the hits are always applied to the people who have the highest value remaining. So hit number 1 and hit number 2. He's done. And now these guys go. He's got 2 dice that hits on 3s or less. Misses them both. And this guy hits on 1s or 2s with 3 dice. He is not charging this time. Well, he gets 1 hit in. So let's see, the least effective guy over here is probably this dude. Okay, so let's group these guys by sections. So the Saracens get to counterattack finally. They've got 2 dice at a B3 and then 3 dice hitting on 2s. So 2 dice at a 3 or less to hit. Wow, that's terrible. Since low is always better in this game. And now 3 dice hitting on 2s. Also terrible. Okay, we now go into round 3 of the combat. At the end of round 4, the attacker has to retreat, basically, because they couldn't hold their spot. So on we go. This guy continues to go first because he's the A. Still 3 dice, still hitting on 2s. And he delivers 1 more hit, which I guess we'll give to this guy. And now these guys, 2 dice at a 3 again. 1 hit, so that guy has to take the hit. And lastly, 3 dice at a 2. No hits. Saracen counters. Now, one thing I should mention is that Saracens have their own thing that they can do, all the Saracen armies can do, which is harrying the enemy, which is they come in, they attack with a -1 strength from their normal value, but you don't turn them down. They didn't take a hit. But after that 1 round of combat, they automatically retreat for free. I'm not sure that would be super advantageous. At the moment, it probably would have been, but we didn't do that, so here we are. But just FYI, in case you thought the Saracens had nothing, herring is their official term for it versus night charges. All right, so 1 die at a 3 or less hits. So this guy or that guy takes the hit, and I think we're going to go with this guy. And now these two, both hitting on a 1 or a 2. 1 more hit. So this guy has to take it because he has the highest point total left. Okay. So we've come to the 4th round, which means that the Saracens will have to retreat. However, the defender still goes first. So they have to survive 1 more withering round of fire before they can get away. So clearly the Crusaders have held on to AAA. So we got the 2 dice hitting on a 2. Nothing. And now we've got 4 dice. 2 dice hitting on a 3, sorry. Nothing. And 2 dice hitting on a 2. Wow. Apparently they were bobbing and weaving on their way out of town. So these guys do not magically heal themselves or anything. They're still wounded. But they're holding AAA, and these 3 guys, also wounded, have to retreat, and they will retreat up to here. Partially because it's a main road, but there's only 3 of them, so they could hold it either way. But do they want to retreat to there? Probably. And now it's time to fight down in Jerusalem. So here we are down in Jerusalem. Everybody's fighting in the first round, as it were. Let's see, we got A2, B2, another B2, and another B2. Now, mind you, you can't just spin them around like that normally, but because I know they're all at full health because nobody's fought yet, it's not that big a deal. Otherwise, it would be. B3, B3, B2, and B3. Okay, the defenders get to go first again. Oh, make sure you can see all that. Let's see, a 3, a 2, and a 2. Oh, 3 3s and a 2. Oh, wow. So they'll be throwing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dice on 3s or less. Because they're going to charge, I have to do it 1 block at a time, which makes sense. So he's charging. And he goes on with 3 dice, hitting on 3s and hurts himself on 6s. So does 2 damage and takes 1 damage. So he takes 1 and does 2, and it automatically goes to whoever has the highest amount. And then in case of a tie, it goes to the, it's up to the defender. Or excuse me, the owner, I should say, of the troop. So he's done. And now this guy will be going with 4 dice, also hitting on 3s or less. Oh, wow. That was a fine roll. 4 damage. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch. And he's done. Now this guy gets to go. He's rolling 5 dice and hit on 3s. And does 3 hits. Yikes. That takes all 3 of these guys out. Wow. Talk about a decisive fight. And finally, this guy has 5 dice because he might as well, should he charge? He's not even going to charge. He'll just use his 4 dice versus this guy who's only can withstand 1 more hit. And he is hitting on 2s. And gets 3 hits, which is more than enough to finish this guy off. And when it's one of the Saladin families, they do not they do not respawn, so he's just out of the game. We stand them back up so nobody loses what their current hit points are. And they continue to claim Jerusalem, although now it looks like they might need to crusade down to Egypt, because wow, that was pretty darn rough. So it is now the third turn of the first year. And also we got to recruit one thing, so we'll draw this guy, who is another Arab who starts in Egypt, and randomly pick this guy, who is Flanders, so he goes sitting over here and can't go yet, because we have to fill it up first. So, yeah. The Saracens, wow, that didn't go great. They took nothing that turn. So we're going to have to send reinforcements in from Damascus in order to take Tripoli. And maybe it's time to force our way into Antioch too. So probably 2 moves. Yes, I think 2 moves. And then we may surprise them with the mud on that turn. Meanwhile, we're going to leave Damascus alone as the Crusaders. Our best thing to do now is go pursue Egypt before they reinforce too much, because we can pull guys from here and here and march that way. So we'll be using a 2. Okay, so it's a tie. I do not know what happens in case of a tie. Let's see. In case of a tie, the Crusaders win. I should also mention you can also travel by sea between friendly ports. It costs 1 movement point per single cube that you move. Okay, so the Crusaders have 2 moves. So we're going to move some people out of Jerusalem. That's fairly safe because Damascus is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves away. So that seems like not too bad of a problem. This guy was here. Let's see. So we'll move everybody 2 down the road. 1, 2. And that's all they can do. And for somebody else moving, we will move these guys up 1, 2 to reinforce Jerusalem. Granted, that leaves Acre slightly exposed, but not too bad. And now for the Saracens. Let's see, these guys can all move 3. So this is going to be one of the moves. And they are going to go 1. Can they get there in 1 turn? 2, yes. 1, 2, 3. That's 1 move. And the second move is going to be these guys following back in. We will let these dudes lead since these guys are pretty hammered at this point. So there's only 1 fight this turn, and that's all the movement. So these guys are all attacking. So you've got C2, C2, A2, and C2. And the reserves are over here. And all 3 of these guys are already there. Yep. And they are B3, A2, who's slightly wounded already, and B2, who's also slightly wounded already. Okay, but they get to go first. The question is, are they going to retreat into the castle? So at the start of the turn, the defender has the choice of whether they want to move into the castle or not, and it can only hold 2 troops. But what it does is basically double their defense. So it takes 2 hits to cause 1 point of damage, basically. So we will move these 2 guys into the castle. And the reserves are over here. And all 3 of these guys are already there. Yep. And they are B3, A2, who's slightly wounded already. And the second move is going to be these guys following back in. So we will move these 2 guys into the castle. And that leaves this guy exposed out on his own. Is that the wisest choice? No, it's not. We're gonna fight in the field, dang it. So he's gonna go first with the A2, and then we got the B2 and a B3. All right, so 2 dice hitting on 1s or 2s at the Saracen, sorry about that. Misses them both. Next up is this guy with 2 dice hitting on 3s or less. Wow. And finally, this guy hitting on 2s with 2 dice. 1 hit. So it has to go to one of these 2 guys since they have the most, so we'll give it to that guy. That was extraordinarily ineffective. It is now the defender or the attacker's turn, so 3 dice, and he is hitting on 2s. And he gets 1 hit. I guess we'll take it from this guy. Now this guy, 3 dice on 2s. In fact, that's what all those guys are, pretty much. 1 hit. So this guy is going to take it. That's him. And now this guy has 4 dice hitting on 2s. And he gets 1 whole hit, so this guy has to take it. And lastly, this guy, 3 dice, hitting on 2s. Whoops. Cocked. There, 2 hits. So I guess, boy. These 2 guys are out. He can try and retreat, but they're gonna clobber him anyway. So he's just gonna do what damage he can before he goes out. So all these guys get added in. And 1 dice hitting on 3s. Nope. So now it's this guy, 3 dice on 2. And finishes him off. That was effective. And at the end of the year, or the end of the round, I should say, everybody drafts 1 person. Let's see, the Crusaders get another Hospitalier, who is unfortunately popping up right here, which is not a great spot for him personally. And they recruit a Turk who starts in Aleppo. Now it's what happens next. The Saracens do not want that contingency to march down to Egypt just yet, so they're actually going to play Mud. Meanwhile, since the Crusaders don't know that, they're just going to play a 2. So they play a 2, they play Mud, which cancels the turn, basically. So nothing at all happens. And play continues as normal, both players play new cards. So that means that the Saracens will be playing this 1, since that's their winter campaign card, which you have to play on turn 6 or it doesn't do anything. And the Crusaders will be playing their 2. So the Crusaders get to go first, and they get to move 2 squads, or 2 units. Wow. Okay, well that was real bad. So we are going to make this guy a unit, and he is going to reinforce an acre so we don't lose anything else there. And Damascus is weakened, but I don't want to give up enough forces to do anything about it while those guys are sitting right there. And we're going to retreat this guy also down to acre for now. That surrenders some middle ground, but at this point, who cares? And it's over the Saracens, who have a single move. And I think they are going to focus on Antioch and head north. So we will take moves 3, moves 3, moves 3. We're going to take 3 people. Now remember, there's some that are badly hurt and some that aren't, but when things are hidden, you wouldn't know that. And go 1, 2, 3. So they will be holding position there, 2 towns away from Antioch for striking. And that's it for the round. No combat this time, so we go straight into round 6, which is the winter turn, where they have a 1 and the winter campaign card. So normally in the winter phase, turn 6, blocks have a movement rate of -1. So the Crusaders would be moving at 0 because of the storms. There is no battle phase. You can't continue to siege, you cannot attack, and there is no draw phase. However, with the winter campaign card played, allow 1 normal group move during the winter turn. You may attack and activate any and all existing sieges. So it's -1 to move, but you can still move 1 because of the card. It's in a position to attack in 1 move, though, I don't think. The Crusaders certainly aren't, but they will take that 1 move and move into Gaza. So at least they're on a main road. And I think the Saracens, feeling quite confident that Aleppo is secure, will move up this main road. We'll leave 1 guy there. And move up into Arta, I guess it is, since there's a main road right there. And that is the end of winter, and that concludes 1187. The next year is 1188, and we're into the second turn of the 6-turn game of Crusader Rex.